a game where nobody who joins can get out, unless they either win or die. Yo, what's up my anime crew? Today I got an anime that'll grab you from the first frame. If you're into suspense and mystery, this is exactly what you've been looking for. So grab your coffee mug, sit tight, and let's kick off. You won't be leaving until it's over. First off, understand that we're stuck inside a weird game the whole time. The people in it are real humans, but they perform missions like the stuff happens in real life. Each player's objective, kill the rival team so you can win the game and get out. Hope you get the picture, because we're jumping right in. The anime starts with two groups taking part in the game. The competition is savage, teams going all out, fighting close range. One squad can locate the opposing team with a radar, so they creep closer and toss a bomb to kill them. But shock turns out the ones they blew up were ordinary civilians, not rival players. One guy slams his teammate for it, saying, "They're innocent, they didn't deserve to die." And his buddy answers, all dumb, "They were standing in the wrong spot, who told them to stand there?" It's clear he's done this before. He's probably wiped out people in front of him many times. Anyway, the move the team did made the squad, chasing them, able to lock onto their position. At that point, somebody from the rival side appears, traps them, and tosses bombs that kill all of them. Now switch scene. We see a guy sitting at his computer playing this game. He always wins it because he thanks his lucky stars or whatever you can tell. He's been playing for ages and knows every detail. Still, he looks exhausted, like he hasn't slept in a while. And that, my friend, is the secret. Anyone who plays online obsessively becomes obsessed like an addict, totally absorbed. This guy's name is Saka. He's been playing the game called Bottom for a long time. The game's global, loads of people play, but Saka's on lock. He's ranked high and plays the old version, personally. He gives us the lowdown. Lots of copies dropped lately, but he sticks to the old build. There are no guns, just bombs players use to defend themselves. Each player gets only one kind of bomb. You can't switch types. You must manage your bombs to the last moment and only use them when necessary. Think of your bomb count as matching the number of targets you'll face. Every bomb matters. One cool thing, players can form alliances and teams. You can meet folks inside and team up to help each other to the end, but in the end, only one person survives. All those alliances end up failing because betrayal is guaranteed. Couple more details I didn't say earlier. Nobody knows the specs of the bombs except their owner. You know, your bomb type. But you don't know how powerful the guy opposite you is. So everyone hides their strengths so nobody can measure the gap between them. Now we see Saka paired with a buddy today. They face a top-ranked player in the world. They're equally matched, so they're hyped to beat him at any cost. Saka talks about himself with confidence. "Yeah, I'm useless in real life and aimless, but in-game, I'm the center of the universe and everyone chases me." He says he can't find a job in real life. No girls look his way. But in the game, he's married and has a family. Don't know where he pulls that confidence from dudes tripping. Suddenly, without warning, whether he's asleep, dreaming, or it's for real, we find him in the game, flesh and blood, hanging from a tree. He's got the same gear he used when he played on his computer, except now it's real. He's inside the world, not just a character. He doesn't know how he got there. Can't believe what's happening. He calls out loud. Maybe someone will hear, but no answer. Alone. He frees himself, climbs down, and asks aloud. "A minute ago, I was in my room playing Bottom. How did I end up here? Where is this place? What am I even doing?" He holds his head like he's trying to wake up but can't. Then he notices something on his arm, a little slice, but the weird part is he doesn't feel it. It's like it's become part of him. He looks for any network signal, nothing. Like a dead zone with zero tech. He jokes to himself, maybe aliens abducted me. He checks his backpack. There's food and a water bottle. He eats and drinks without thinking, then tells himself, first find out where I am, then I'll figure how to get home. He keeps walking through this forest-like place. It's dead quiet. Since he's been gaming obsessively, he actually knows how to handle himself in the terrain. He recognizes the land and the animals, so he sprints until he reaches the shore. Then flashes come back. Last time he was heading home to see his mom, planning to change his life and get an honest job to help with expenses. But his mom didn't answer the phone. He got weirded out, walked off, and then a group of odd people accosted him and asked his name. He can't remember beyond that. Back at the shore, confused, he tries to recall but draws blank. blanks. He searches his bag to see what else is in it and finds a bomb. Because he's a gaming fiend, he recognizes it by sight and tosses it away before it blows. Remember this, the bomb has a timer. We'll need that later. He's puzzled why a bomb was in his bag at all. Then someone nearby, he calls for help. It turns out to be a girl who throws a bomb at him. He only just manages to dodge before it explodes. Now he focuses what's in his head. Turns out what's happening is exactly like the bottom game, but in real life. When he gets that, he runs into the forest, but multiple people start chasing him and tossing bombs. He has no clue what's going on. Someone throws a bomb at him. He tries to talk his way out of it and maybe get information, but the guy laughs and throws another bomb that explodes on him. Now the patch on his arm lights up. It's the tracker that fixes his position relative to his team. Meanwhile, Sokka frantically tries to manage the bombs he's got and wonders how he got here. Thrown to the ground, he tries to remember his in-game bomb handling to figure out what to do in the real world. After focusing, he identifies the types of bombs he owns, so he devises a plan to stop the kid in front of him. He plants several bombs around the area without the other kid noticing, uses their timers, and waits for the target to approach. The kid dives into the water thinking he can escape by submerging, but the bombs explode, throwing him far into the sea. Sokka finds the kid dead and blames himself, but knows he had to do it. If he hadn't, he would have been the one killed. Especially once Sokka sees how his bombs work, he concentrates and tells himself he must take those bombs, just like he did in the game. Since he's playing now for real, he has to keep up with events to stay alive. The next day, Sokka was knocked out cold from exhaustion. He started dreaming about the last thing that happened in real life when he was in his room gaming as usual, and his mom wasn't having it anymore. She walked in and told him she found him a job through one of their relatives. She was nagging him hard, and unlucky for him, the mic in his game was still on. So all his teammates heard his mom yelling at him, and that embarrassed the hell out of him. He got pissed, snapped at her, and threw his game controllers at her. But later, he did actually go for the job interview, while his mom stayed upset about how he treated her. That's when he wakes up from his dream, still stuck on that island. Man's a total mess. Out of nowhere, he spots a girl standing by the water washing her clothes, not even noticing he's there totally chilling. But the moment she sees him, she freezes and gets super awkward. Then, she starts telling us her story how she ended up here. Turns out, she used to play the same game before landing on this island, and she was obsessed with Sokka's team dying to join them by any means. But he never gave her the time of day, didn't even acknowledge her existence, which made her kinda hate him a bit. As for her real life, she's just a high school girl, living normally, day in, day out, until one day she gets her chance, and boom, she's suddenly in the game for real. When she woke up here, she had no clue how she got there. Then she was shocked to find a bunch of random guys standing around her, arguing, all confused about how they got here too. And since they were all dudes, every one of them wanted to boss the others around, big egos everywhere, nobody listening. Eventually, they decided they'd better cooperate and pick a leader if they wanted to survive or find a way out. And since none of them could stand each other, they all picked her to be the leader. Suddenly, while they're sitting, they see a plane flying above, dropping stuff. They run over and start rummaging through what fell. Turns out it's food, water, and survival gear. Now they're even more confused, like, are we supposed to stay here longer? Who's sending us this stuff? 1,000 questions, no answers. So they decide, whatever, let's eat first, think later. But because they don't know how long they'll be stuck here, they agree to ration the food to last as long as possible. Oh, her name's Himeko, by the way. Anyway, out of nowhere, betrayal. One of the three guys kills another, leaving only two alive. Why? Just because he couldn't stand him, said he'd rather save the food for himself. That move freaked the others out. So later that night, the other guy wakes Himeko up to sneak away together. But the killer finds out and starts chasing them, thanks to the radar system they all have. Himeko's confused, why is this guy helping her so much, even though he barely knows her? But she doesn't get much time to think the killer's getting close, trying to steal their supplies too. The guy with her grabs a bomb, throws it at the killer, then runs across a bridge between two cliffs. Once he's across, he cuts the bridge completely, no way for the killer to follow. At that moment, Himeko starts starts feeling scared not just of the killer, but also of this guy helping her. Why is he so into her? Why is he protecting her this much? Turns out, he's got feelings for her full-on crush, acting like her self-appointed bodyguard without her permission. She's not having it, smacks him straight in the face and says, "Back off, man. I don't need you sticking to me." Then she remembers a flashback from school. Her girlfriends once wanted her to tag along to meet a group of boys. She showed up late, and when she got there, the girls were all passed out on the ground, beaten up. She panicked and bolted, ran for her life. Since that day, she hasn't trusted a single guy. So now, she feels like ending up on this island is karma punishment for running away instead of helping her friends. And to make things worse, the same guy who said he'd protect her tries to assault her. When that happens, she remembers how she left her friends behind and realizes no one's coming to save her this time. So she decides to save herself, pulls out one of her bombs, and throws it at him, killing him on the spot. After all that chaos, we finally reach the part where she meets Sokka by the lake, embarrassed, still shaken up by everything she went through. Right away, Himiko starts running, grabbing her stuff, and trying to get away from Sokka. She thought he was just another creep like the rest of the guys. And that explains why she never trusts anyone she meets. Meanwhile, Sokka notices she's got food and water, and since he's starving after finishing all his supplies, he tries to stop her so he can eat with her. But before he can catch up, she runs into the forest and disappears. Since he's starting to get used to how things work on the island, he decides to use his radar to locate her. When he finds her signal nearby, he runs in that direction, but on his way, he runs into an old man. They start talking, and the old man looks terrified, probably thinking Sokka's gonna kill him, but little does he know, Sokka's way too dumb and harmless for that. Sokka asks the question that's been bugging him the whole time: how many people are actually on this island? So they sit down, and the old man starts cleaning himself up and telling Sokka how he ended up here. He says he was on a plane full of people, surrounded by weird-looking guards. Then, suddenly, a man appeared on the screen in front of them saying they were about to enter a game. And once it starts, no one can leave you, either win or you die. The man started explaining the rules one by one and showed them the gear that'd be in their bags. But when one of the passengers stood up and said, "Hell no, I'm not playing this," the man ordered the guards to shoot him right there cold-blooded. Everyone else freaked out and had no choice but to agree to play. After that, they were split into groups and dropped in different locations, each one on their own. The old man says he was on the same plane as Sokka, but when he tried to protest, the leader of their group zapped him in the head with a stun gun. That's probably why he's missing parts of his memory. Sokka's stunned. None of this rings a bell. He doesn't remember any of it. But he asked the man to keep going. The old man says that after that, they strapped parachutes to everyone and threw them out of the plane one by one. He was unconscious when it happened, so the guards put a parachute on him and opened it for him, and that's the last thing he remembers. Sokka suddenly recalls the blood on his head when he first woke up and realizes that's probably when he hit the ground. Everything's starting to click for him now. He figures out that the only way to leave this place is either to die or to win, or maybe to collect 7 chips from other players. But the only way to do that is to kill them. Then Sokka gets an idea. He asks the old man if they can team up and help each other survive until they find a way out. But he also asks him to tell him what type of bombs he has, just to be sure he's not dangerous. The old man smiles calmly and says, "And how do I know that once I tell you, you won't get greedy and kill me for them?" He adds, "I'm not after your bombs either, so I don't need to know yours. It's better if we move together without knowing everything about each other. That'll help us trust each other more." Sokka thinks about it and agrees it makes sense. The guy talks with more sense than he ever could. Before they move out, they finally exchange names. The old man's name is Kyoshi. Suddenly, they hear the sound of a plane approaching. Sokka climbs up a nearby hill to see what's going on and spots the plane dropping supplies all over the place. That's when he realizes they're not leaving anytime soon. The plane comes every day, dropping food and water, and whoever gets there first, that's their luck for the day. He spots a bag dropped not too far away and rushes toward it. But turns out everyone in the forest heard the plane too, and they're all heading toward the nearest bag. As Sokka's running, he notices a girl sprinting toward the same bag, happy as hell that she found food, but before she can even touch it, boom, the bag explodes, killing her instantly. Sokka freezes. Maybe the bags have bombs inside them? Then he sees a guy step out from behind a tree. Turns out he's the one who blew her up just to steal her chip. Without a shred of mercy, he takes her chip and walks off, leaving her body behind behind. That's when Sokka finally understands this is the Game Master's plan. They drop food every day to make players fight over it, trap each other, and kill faster. That way, the competition ends sooner. Sokka realizes the people behind this game have zero humanity, treating the players like chickens in a slaughterhouse. So he decides right there he's not falling for their tricks. Not again. Sokka grabs Kyoshi and starts running, hoping they can find a food bag without getting killed on the way they're starving, haven't eaten or drunk a thing in ages. Problem is, the guy totally forgets that Kyoshi's an old man who can barely keep up. But Sokka, nah. His brain's locked on one thing only. Food. Any food. Doesn't matter how. Suddenly, he senses someone nearby. He sneaks closer and spots a young guy standing over a dead body. Turns out the guy set a trap for his victim, so Sokka wastes no time, finishes him off too, and steals his stuff. Then he drags Kyoshi with him to a nearby lake so they can finally eat something in peace. But as soon as they get there, surprise, surprise, they find the body of the guy who attacked Himiko floating in the water. Right away, they suspect someone's lurking around who killed him. Of course, they don't know. Himiko already took care of that ages ago. Sokka decides to check out the waterfall. Maybe there's something useful there. And if anyone's hiding nearby, he'll deal with them and come back to Kyoshi after he double checks his gear, 2 of his own bombs, plus a full bag of explosives he took from the guy he just killed. Meanwhile, Kyoshi goes up to the dead guy and takes his chip. Well, he's dead anyway. Might as well make use of it. Back to Sokka. He's wandering the forest, totally lost, till he spots another body. This one's chip is missing too. That's when it hits him. There's a killer around, someone wiping out players one by one. Suddenly, he hears something close by. He turns around and boom, it's Himiko. He immediately suspects she's the killer. He hides behind a tree, watching her carefully. But joke's on him, she was already watching him. She tosses a smoke bomb his way, fast. He panics, thinks she's about to kill him too, and bolts straight out of the forest. But when he gets out, she's already standing right in front of him. She'd set a trap, cornered him perfectly, and when he looks closer, he notices she's carrying way more types of bombs than he has. No way he's winning that fight. So he decides to switch strategies diplomacy mode on. Hey, chill. I just want to get out of here alive. I don't want to die, okay? After a lot of talking, Himiko finally calms down a bit and lowers her bomb. Sokka thinks, nice, I got her, and slowly starts walking closer. But the second she sees him approaching, her trauma kicks in. She panics and throws the bomb right at him. He's like, you crazy woman, I'm not like the other guys you met. But she doesn't care. She's been through too much to trust anyone. Sokka rushes at her before she can throw another one, so she switches to her electric stun gun instead, safer than using another bomb. They go head to head in a brutal fight, evenly matched. But the girl's so blinded by her hatred toward men that she doesn't even think straight. She shocks him hard electricity running through his body. Sokka grits his teeth, pulls out his own stun gun, and zaps her back. She faints instantly. When things settle down, he stares at her for a bit. He can tell she's been through hell beaten, broken. That's what made her like this. He sighs, can't just leave her there for someone else to hurt. So he picks her up and carries her with him. When she wakes up, she's in his arms. He tries to explain that he's not gonna hurt her. He's on her side. But she doesn't trust a single word, zero faith left in men. She pulls out a grenade, arms it, and screams, I'll kill myself before you touch me. You're all monsters. At the last second, Sokka lunges forward, disarms the grenade, and tries to calm her down. He tells her again he's not like the others, and slowly she starts to believe him. Later that night, the 3 of them, Sokka, Kyoshi, and Himiko, sit together by the lake, eating what little they've got. Himiko's wrapped in a blanket instead of her torn clothes, and Kyoshi's acting like the group's dad, comforting her and handing her food till she can't eat anymore. Once Himiko calms down, she starts talking. She tells them someone paid to make her disappear, like completely vanish from the world, and she's pretty sure everyone else in this game's here for the same reason. Sokka freezes. Someone wanted me gone too? He starts thinking, who would do that? Then it hits him his mom. They'd been fighting a lot lately, and the thought that she might have been the one to send him here crushes him. He's in shock, whispering to himself, "She really hated me that much?" But before he can spiral any deeper, a strange sound echoes from the forest, a low growl. They all turn, and what they see makes their blood run cold. 3 massive lizards crawl out from the shadows. The smallest one is the size of all 3 of them combined. They just stand there, frozen, no idea what to do next. Himiko sprints toward her bag, trying to grab a grenade to throw at the giant lizards. Sokka runs after her, trying to stop her, but the moment he gets close, he feels something weird. That face, that's her. The same girl he married inside the game. Like, seriously, what are the odds? The world's too damn small. He never thought he'd meet her in real life, and of all places, inside another game, for real this time. They both snap out of it quick though and focus on the fight. Together, they manage to kill the lizards and somehow make it out alive. The next day, Sokka heads into the forest looking for food. While wandering around, he bumps into another contestant one who clearly wants him dead. Sokka bolts, running for his life, but the guy corners him. Sokka, thinking fast, offers him a deal. "Join us, let's team up." The guy raises an eyebrow, confused, but goes, "All right, fine." He lets Sokka go back to his group unharmed. But later, we see that same contestant with a businessman, the kind who thinks money solves everything. The businessman's paying him big cash to help him survive and get out of the game safely. So the businessman asks, "Why didn't you kill that guy?" The killer smirks, "Because he's not alone. If I kill him now, I'll never find the others. I'll let him lead me straight to them, then I'll kill them all at once. More chips, 1 strike." Man, these psychos think on another level. Brain of a demon, heart of a snake. So he waits. When Sokka finally regroups with his team, the killer follows them quietly and traps all 3. The moment he sees Himeko, he freezes. Turns out, she's the same girl who tricked him before stole everything from him and ran off with his partner. Yeah, he's real mad about that. Sokka tries to threaten him, not that it works. You can practically see his knees shaking, and the killer's already noticed. Kyoshi tries to sneak up from behind, but the killer slashes his arm open. Sokka jumps in to defend him, but the killer just shoves him off the tower straight into the forest. He assumes Sokka's dead, grabs Himeko, and walks off. But nah, Sokka's not that easy to kill. He lands on a tree, ends up with a few scratches, but still alive. All he can think about now is Himeko. He knows that Maniac won't spare her. So he gets up, bleeding and furious, and starts climbing back toward the tower. By the time he gets there, the killer's already gone with Himeko only Kyoshi's left, badly injured. Sokka feels crushed, guilty as hell for not saving her sooner. He swears to himself he'll go after her, even if it means dying for it. Kyoshi begs him to take him along. "Don't leave me here, kid. We live together or die together." So they set off side by side into the night. Meanwhile, in a dark cabin, Himeko's tied to a bed, trapped with the killer and the businessman. They're sitting there eating like it's a damn picnic, planning what to do to her after. The killer's clearly insane, obsessed with watching his victims suffer before killing them. But then his tracker beeps. Sokka's signal. He's still alive. The killer leaves the cabin, telling the businessman to keep an eye on her, and heads out to finish what he started. Only this time, Sokka's not charging in blind. He's got to plan every move calculated. He sets a trap, luring the killer and the businessman right into it. They both fall in, and Sokka slips past, sneaking straight into the cabin. Inside, Himeko's stunned. It's the first time she hears him call her by name. She asks, "How do you even know my name?" He smiles, "Saw it on your phone." He unties her, helps her up, and they sneak out together. But the killer's not done yet. He's tracking them on his radar, watching every step. He catches up and grabs Himeko again. Sokka doesn't back down. He charges at him. A brutal fight breaks out, blows, knieves, blood. Himeko jumps in too, fighting beside him this time. Together, they throw a grenade at the killer and sprint out of the tower just as it explodes. They survive, and the killer, gone for good. Himeko, shaking and out of breath, hugs him tight, finally trusting him, maybe even falling for him. But then, the real twist hits. We cut to the people behind the game, the masterminds. They're sitting in some giant control room watching everything live, hundreds of huge screens showing every move, every death, every scream. Turns out, the whole game's being broadcasted, like some twisted sports event, a packed stadium full of cheering fans. Yeah, these sick bastards aren't just killers, they're entertainers. and the world's watching like it's nothing. We're back in the game. We see a player walking with her boyfriend. He promises he'll look after her, keep her safe from everything, but she betrays him straight up, stabs him in the back, and throws him in a big pit full of lizards to be eaten. Imagine his shock, betrayed by the person closest to him. He's dead and heartbroken before his body even gives out. And the crowd watching the game, they're fine with it. They say betrayal is part of life, meaning if someone's gonna live, someone else has to die. That's the cycle. Everybody gets backstabbed eventually. Meanwhile, our guy Sokka's being all lovey-dovey with Himeko. He decides he'll protect her from now on, that she owes him, and says they'll sleep in the same spot from now on. Himeko takes the chance to ask him why he'd risk himself for her. He can't explain, he just feels something inside that made him act that way. He doesn't even know why he did it. He mentions how she once saved him inside the game, and how none of his old buddies did that for him, so now he feels she owes him. He rambles on until she goes quiet. He thinks she's fallen asleep, but she hasn't. She's sobbing softly, hiding the sound with her hand. She's not processing any of it. She's remembering how she liked him back when they played together, even though she'd never met him then. After meeting him in real life, she felt like he was the man she'd been waiting for. We'll get married. My heart's yours. That kind of over-the-top love. She falls asleep, dreaming about him. She wakes up screaming someone's standing over her. Sokka rushes out, panicked to check who it was, but finds no one. Himeko insists it wasn't a nightmare. Someone was there. Sokka uses his tracker and follows the nearest ping until he finds a weird room. Inside is a woman with an amputated arm, looking skeletal from hunger. He realizes someone cut her arm off and she's been stuck here, surviving without food. He runs back to tell Himeko, hoping she can help since she's a woman and might relate. When they return to the room, the woman screams and is terrified. She calms down only when Sokka walks out. Himeko sits with her and asks what happened. Before the woman explains, she asks if Himeko trusts Sokka. Himeko says she trusts him more than her own soul. The woman is stunned, surprised anyone still trusts someone that much, and then tells her whole story. She'd been on the island a long time with a partner she trusted completely. They planned to help each other escape. He seemed loyal until the moment they were about to get out. Then he betrayed her, cut off her hand, stole her chip, left her to die. She broke free somehow and ran. Ever since, she trusts no man. Nobody knew where she went when her chip was gone. People assumed she was dead. Himeko is shocked. The woman warns her, never trust a man. Betrayal can come from anywhere. Then she shows them a route off the island. She knows a way out because she's been here a long time. Before they leave, the old woman warns Sokka to take care of Himeko. Watch her, she says. Meanwhile, we cut to Kyoshi. Turns out he's sitting with that businessman we met earlier, the same doctor the woman mentioned. Now we see the truth. The guy's actually a doctor, and he's been treating Kyoshi, probably planning to use him later. He's a planner, knows how to manipulate people, and he's made Kyoshi totally trust him so he can get to the others. Since Kyoshi got thrown back into the game, it's clear someone wanted him gone. Looks like he's got a lot of enemies. Not long after, Sokka and Himeko return. They find Kyoshi healed and doing fine, so they relax a bit about the doctor. Sokka didn't hear the old woman's warning, so he trusts the doc and decides to include him in their little crew. Himeko, however, gets a bad feeling the doc matches the description the old woman gave, but she has no proof, so she keeps her guard up and plays along until she can see what he really is. Suddenly, they hear the plane again. Sokka volunteers to fetch food for the group so the others can stay put and be safe. He doesn't know the doctor's actually planning to kill him at the first chance. The doc's just biding time, waiting for the right moment. While Sokka runs for supplies, they sense someone nearby, not one or two, but 6 people. Sokka steels himself for a big fight. More than one attacker appears from multiple directions. One of the attackers goes after Himeko, another girl, while Sokka faces a kid his own age. The doctor uses some trick to grab the food easily. He's got experience at this. Back with Himeko. The other girl's way stronger with different bombs. Himeko only has her grit and timing, but she waits for a moment, strikes, and manages to kill the attacker. Meanwhile, the doctor is going through bodies hunting for a chip, but then realizes Himeko's still alive and decides to take her with him and postpone the rest. Sokka keeps searching for another bag, he spots a man approaching one pack and watches. The man gets close, then another person appears and kills him. Sokka can't just stand by. He confronts the killer and tells him to back off the pack and drop all his bombs. But when Sokka edges near the pack, he gets suspicious. Something feels like a trap. The man seems empty-handed, but Sokka stays cautious. As he calms and approaches the bag, it turns out the man had the detonator in his mouth, waiting for Sokka to come close to blow everything up. Sokka thinks he's dead, it's over. But when he scans with his tracker, he's still alive. Turns out, Sokka's teacher instinct saved him. He'd planned for betrayals like this and wasn't standing right next to the pack. Now Sokka decides to take the fight. He uses all the bombs he has and goes after the killer until he finishes him. Even though all the viewers thought Sokka was dead, they didn't know he was smarter than anyone expected and pulled a move nobody saw coming. The crowd in the stands went wild. The second they found out he was still alive, everyone was itching to see what he'd do to that killer. A huge fight broke out between Sokka and the killer. The killer's whole aim was to grab a food pack and run, so he kept throwing bombs at Sokka from everywhere. Sokka had no choice but to dodge and hide. When Himeko decided to run in and help, the doctor stopped her, saying she'd be risking herself, and there was no guarantee Sokka was even alive. Weirdly, the killer already knew Sokka's name and everything about him. When Sokka heard the killer call him by name, he was stunned and chased after him, asking, "How do you know me?" But the killer didn't wait and bolted into the woods. Then some kids slipped in and stole Sokka's belt of bombs. He'd waited until Sokka was busy in the brawl, snatched the belt and ran. Sokka was left frustrated and collapsed on the shore, not knowing what to do. Himeko and the doctor found him and checked on him. Himeko was so worried, she grabbed him in a sudden hug, and in that moment, Sokka felt something. He felt how she cared. Meanwhile, the killer was sitting with the girl who fought Himeko. That girl, we learn, is named Heidi. It's clear they'd planned together from the start to steal chips. Sokka told Himeko and the doctor a story from school, how he'd gotten into a fight with a guy named Oda who molested a girl Sokka liked. The principal expelled both of them, and Sokka never managed to go back to school. After that, he wasted his time playing at home. He felt the killer might actually be Oda. He wasn't sure, but he felt the guy had come here for revenge for that fight, because Oda hated him since then. While Sokka was telling the story, the doctor looked irritated and wanted him to shut up. The doc went back to tending Kyoshi, but secretly wished Sokka would die, he muttered to himself about how he ended up in this shitty night, eating old men's leftovers. But he had to stay useful so no one gets suspicious. Sokka decided to go back into the woods to meet the old woman so they could learn more about the place. The doctor insisted on coming along, claiming he didn't want to be left alone. Himeko started to suspect him, thinking he might be the same doctor the old woman warned about. Sokka and the doctor went off together under the pretense of getting medicine. Himeko chased after them, warning Sokka not to take anything from the doctor. But she arrived too late. The bag had a bomb inside, and it exploded on Sokka right in front of her eyes. But wait, how did Himeko know the doctor was a traitor, and that he was going to betray Sokka right then? Something must have happened to make her suspect him all of a sudden. Let's find out. We go back to Himeko, completely crushed, staring at Sokka's body after the explosion. The doctor walks up to her, smiling like a psycho, and admits it, he's planning to kill her too, just to erase all the evidence. But suddenly, that same woman from before shows up out of nowhere, smashes him down, and saves Himeko right in front of her eyes. Now, you're probably wondering, how did Himeko even figure it out? Here's the thing earlier. When she was out keeping watch and heading to meet that woman, the lady wanted to introduce her to their new team member. And the moment Himeko saw him, she recognized his face. That's the doctor! The same bastard the woman had warned her about before. Right then, everything clicked, and Himeko ran off to warn Sokka, but sadly, she got there too late, and the guy had already taken the hit. While Himeko's lost in those memories, the doctor's still somehow alive, barely breathing, and he's crawling back, trying to kill the woman and cover his tracks. A massive fight breaks out between them, both of them burning with hatred and revenge. The doctor's got the upper hand, he's loaded with bombs, and he ends up killing her before heading straight for Himeko, ready to finish her too. By now, Himeko's given up no more will to fight. She's just standing there, waiting for him to throw that last bomb and end it. But when he finally does, the bomb doesn't explode. The doctor freezes, pulls at his hair like he's losing his mind. What the hell happened? Then, out of the darkness, Sokka walks out. Yeah, he's alive. Turns out, when Himeko came running to warn him, he threw threw the bag away and dove into a pit nearby. The bomb went off far from him, and now he's back, ready to settle the score. He launches one massive bomb straight at the doctor, blasting him hard, but the guy's like a damn cockroach, still alive somehow. And just when he thinks he's safe, that woman he betrayed, yeah, she's alive too. She shows up and finishes the job herself, taking revenge for everything he did to her. Finally, when it's all over, Sokka and Himiko patch up their wounds. But the airs changed between them. They're not just teammates anymore. They've fallen for each other. Deep, and honestly, there's no way out of it now. When they finally snap out of that lovesick haze, they realize Kyoshi's gone. Turns out, while everyone was asleep, he had this dream about his son calling out to him. So he just followed the voice. Looks like the poor guy's been seeing things after everything he's been through. He just wants to go home to his family, to live in peace again. That dream gave him some crazy courage and hope, enough to make him want to finish what he started, no matter the cost, just to escape this island. Meanwhile, Sokka and Himiko are out searching for him everywhere. Then suddenly, boom, a robot appears and attacks them. Sokka takes it down easily. But that wasn't the only one. A whole army of those things comes rushing after them. Looks like the game's creators decided to step in themselves. They probably realized the players weren't killing each other anymore. And in this game, there can only be one survivor. So yeah, they've decided to take Sokka out. Unfortunately, he gets hit injured bad and can't move. That's when Himiko steps up, brave as ever, ready to sacrifice herself to save him. She grabs one of the robots by the arms, wrestles it down, and bam, takes it out like it's nothing. But then comes the real shocker. It's not the game's creators controlling those robots. It's Kyoshi. Yeah, our man Kyoshi turned on them. He's the one behind the attack, trying to steal their chips, all so he can go back to his son. And after everything they did for him, look what he's doing now. Trying to kill them just like that? That's his way of saying, thanks? Really? But karma hits quick because a bunch of lizards crawl out and surround him. So he decides to end it himself rather than die torn apart. Before he does, he apologizes to Sokka, saying he only did all that because he wanted to get back to his family. He never truly meant to hurt him. He pulls out the grenades and blows himself up. And even after everything Kyoshi did, Sokka still tries to save him. Man's heart is too pure. After all that chaos and madness, Sokka finally gets a quiet moment with Himiko. She looks at him and says, "If you kill me and take my chip, you can get out of here." But Sokka refuses, no hesitation. He promises they'll make it out together. Then he seals that promise with a kiss, a long, reassuring kiss that calms her down completely. She smiles, but then flips the mood again like, "I didn't even know what life tasted like till I met you, Sokka." And he just laughs, determined to face whatever comes next, if it means getting her out safely. Suddenly, Sokka sees someone he once knew standing in front of him. He yells at him to get out of his head. He's done listening. He says there's no room left inside him anymore. Not after meeting Himiko. Now he's ready to sacrifice everything for her. And that's where our story ends today. Hope you guys enjoyed the anime. Stay tuned for the next one. See ya!